Hi, I'm Dr. Stacia Alexander, your host of Goals Don't Have Feelings. I'm having a special edition series talking about Corona conversations, basically talking about it through different areas of our lives that are affected by the coronavirus. So this is one in a series of interviews that I'll host over the next few weeks. I am a licensed professional counselor in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and I own and operate a group private practice. I've done that for the last 20 years. As well, I am the director over a clinic, a mental health clinic at a local HBCU, where we highlight the importance of mental health care with the adult emergence population. If you haven't already, make sure you get a copy of my book called The Balancing Act Family Guide that I authored alongside my husband of 27 years and our 2 adult children. It talks about basic principles of parenting that are often forgotten when it gets to the daily routine of life. You can get a copy of that book on Amazon or through our family website at alexandersbalancingact.com. If you haven't already checked into the annual workshop that I host called August Accountability, go to my website and get some very useful information that you can use all year long at www.staciaalexander. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it greatly. I have a couple of requests of you. If you'll like, share, comment, and hey, even host a watch party so that other people can join in on this wonderful information that I'm sharing. If you don't follow me already, make sure you go to Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and you can follow me at Dr. Stacia Alexander. So tonight I have joining me Melodi Parker. She's a licensed professional counselor, and she's willing to share some information with us on the emotionality of parenting, minding the mental health of your children during the coronavirus pandemic. So you'll get some information for you as a parent and for your children to help you navigate this new norm for us, at least for the next couple of weeks or so. And if you have any questions for Melodi, I will hold her have a slide with her contact information on it, whether it's through social media or if you would like to directly contact her via her website. So let's get started with Miss Melodi Parker. Thank you for joining us, Melodi. So I have joining me today Miss Melodi Parker. She's a licensed professional counselor with a group practice near the Dallas Metroplex. So thank you for joining us this evening. I appreciate it, Melodi. Why don't you tell the audience about your practice?
I've been in private practice since 2014. As you mentioned before, Mending Broken Pieces is my private practice. And here recently in 2019, I founded Village Connect, which is a school-based mental health program. So not only do we have therapists, we also have a case manager, interns. We've partnered with UNT Dallas with their counseling program. And we also have, if I didn't already mention it, a pharmacist to provide consultation, medication consultation, and then a psychiatric nurse practitioner to do the psych evaluations. We want to be able to meet the families where they are so they don't have to worry about being inconvenienced or transportation. And in the private practice, I see a wide range of clients from 7 years old all the way up to 70 plus. And I focus on clients dealing with grief and trauma, but any issues that any of my clients have, I just like to meet them where they are and help them progress towards accomplishing their goals.
That's excellent. So you're a busy lady.
I try to be.
I know. But I tell people it's called job security. You may think but it's called job security.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you joining us because one of the topics that I want to highlight in these Corona conversations is how this is impacting parenting, like from the parents' perspective, and then how we're handling the mental health of our children. So thank you for joining us because your expertise in this particular area will shed some light to the parents in the Metroplex. Or hey, let's hope this extends beyond that, but hopefully it'll provide some information to parents because it's not as simple as saying, oh, go do your schoolwork or go to bed on your normal routine. It's a lot broader than that. Like, what do you think? What have you seen?
So right now it's just really adjusting to a new norm and having that schedule, whatever the schedule looks like, and allowing flexibility. and consistency. So whatever that looks like for your family. And one, before we even extend it to the family, what does the schedule look like for yourself as parents? So there are a lot of parents working from home, and I know there are some, I know on my caseload, who are still reporting to work because their job is deemed essential. So if you're still having your regular routine, whether at home or in the workplace, how are you able to adjust to the changes of not really being able to go anywhere and then still having some peace of mind before you go to bed? Maintaining that schedule and allowing some type of way to focus on not what you can't control, but what you can control, and focusing on the positive. And as you start to implement that for yourself, then what does that look like for the rest of the family? Now, every school district is different as to what their requirements are for doing work online. I know there are some school districts who are stating students have to log in by a certain time and then be off, or at least completed most of their work by a certain time. Or as long as they get all of their assignments turned in by the end of the week, then they're good and they have the flexibility to pace themselves. So just really understanding what the school's expectations are. And I know they are getting new information disseminated down from upper admin, down to the teachers, down to the families. So hopefully, depending on what school district, there's been some type of systems put in place. So I know for my son, we're in the third week of doing online learning, and they've changed it since how it was in the first 2 weeks. And this way, it seems a little bit practical or realistic, but it's still a balance for me and my husband to try to get a routine going. So I'm the teacher of record, and my husband is the sub, and we try to make it work for the both of us, and then having our son on a routine too.
So that's what I've been talking to people about, especially like on my caseload, is stop trying to make this normal. Like you said, being flexible. You have to be flexible, and this is abnormal, and go ahead and acknowledge it. So if it's going to inconvenience you to have everybody wake up at 7:30 in the morning, why are you making it the normal right now? And I think what you said about being flexible, it resonates with people. They need to understand that these are not the same type of standards that we would have were we not on a stay in place order. So I can definitely agree with you on that. How do you think this will impact parenting post-COVID? Like what we're doing now, how do you think we'll shift our thinking after all of this is over?
I think it allows parents to be more in tune or aware as to what their children are experiencing in school, because now they have a firsthand observation as to what the teacher is experiencing, what the lesson plan is, why they have so many assignments due, by this date, why it's imperative to prepare for not just state tests, but for the classroom tests. So I think it opens up the eyes to us as parents as to what the expectation is of the school. And then, normally you see for elementary, parents are all hands-on, and then as they graduate, or should I say progress to secondary, they're more hands-off. But even now, looking at my clients who are in secondary, parents are still wanting to know, well, what is going to happen about graduation, about these AP exams, and how is their transition going to be into college? So I think parents now will be more supportive, even more hands-on, maybe laid back, the ones who are, those parents, those type of parents, to understand the processes that the school have. So I think it's a check and balance system for parents to be more supportive of the teacher, and not just, well, this is how it's been and this is how we're going to do, or this is how it was when I was in school. Now you see what the trends.
Right. I agree with you. I think the parents who were already high strung, if you will, that this is probably taking them way out of their comfort zone. Yes. So what are some tips that you would offer the parents to just kind of step back and not necessarily embrace what's going on, but actually manage it? What kind of tips would you give them?
So you said something earlier, realizing that what we did before is not the new norm. So I'm going to steal your word and say, embrace what the new norm is, whatever that is, and have some type of allow your child to have some type of input as to what's going on with them. So that involves communication, right? So as parents, we already know, well, this is what the plan has to look like for the day or for the week, and then we're just going to follow suit. Depending on the age, right, and the maturity level of your child, asking them their input. Because I know some districts are just having them do assignment after assignment after assignment to have documentation that something is happening.
Right.
What about being able to lay down a foundation where your kids have some input? So that shows accountability for them, which takes a lot of the pressure off of the parent.
Right.
So if I set these expectations, let's be realistic, maybe 3 to 5.
Okay.
There's some communication as a family, right? So that means going back to having some family meetings.
Right.
Not just because someone is in trouble, but just to kind of check in with everybody too. And then as adults, if you're married or even if you're a single parent, kind of already having in mind what you want the tone or the layout to be.
Okay.
As you ask for input, ask them, so what is it going to look like since we're shelter in place and you're not returning back to school? What does a routine look like for you?
So that's our first word that I want to talk about. That's what I do with our guests. I put up some words and I ask your first thoughts. And of course, you and I will be having this conversation from a clinical perspective,
Right.
In terms of free thought. But that was the first word, routine. So just tell me, what does it look like for families, or what advice would you give as it relates to routines?
So if they're working online and you're working online or having to leave and go to work, having a time that you wake up. So from this time to this time, you're waking up, you're getting your room together, you're cleaning yourself, you're eating from this time to this time. Then after that, you're starting on your work from this time to this time. Incorporate a break in there. And a break could be watching TV, going outside, the backyard, reading a book, a puzzle, something free. It has nothing to do with any work academically. Then once that break is over, you resume your work. Okay, so from this time to this time, you should have your work completed. Now, depending on the age, depends on, what the time frame looks like. If they're younger, I would say put it into smaller chunks because of their attention span. If they're a little bit older, then I would, stretch it out some. And then even having a time for kitchen. I know we had a conversation with my son. You weren't eating every 5 minutes at school. So he said, I would eat snacks, but not every 5 minutes. So, having a time set when you can go to the kitchen, and not that you have to mandate the kitchen, but have some solid foundations. Or if you have a snack, this is your snack, and you can keep it with you until it's time to eat dinner or what have you. And make it flexible enough to where everybody is in agreement, and then set those expectations. So as a parent, we've already laid down what the expectations are. The child has agreed. So when I'm checking in and I see that they're not meeting the expectation, you want to separate the behavior from the person, right?
Right.
When I'm checking in, it's not.
Hold that thought, because we're on that. Hold that. We can watch with the next couple of words I have. So look at this one. The next word, affirmations. As it relates to parenting during this Corona episode, how do affirmations come into play?
Okay. Affirmations are so amazing, so awesome, and it brings to mind the love languages, right? So there's love languages for adults, couples, and for children. And this is how we feel connected to each other. Right. So praise, everybody wants to feel praised or complimented, get that pat on their shoulder. And I tell parents, and even for mates, any little bitty thing. Oh my gosh, you brushed your teeth and I didn't have to tell you. Right. That goes a long way. You're identifying what the behavior is and how they were able to meet the expectation. And I was thinking about something today when I was talking to a client. My family and I, we did this some years back for Thanksgiving. So I wrote everybody's name on a brown paper bag and just drew some pictures of things that represent their character. And you give them note cards, and everybody writes something that they appreciate about that person. And throughout the time of Thanksgiving, this was Thanksgiving Day, you just drop the notes in the bag. And then either before or after you eat, everybody opens up their bag and they see what the family members have said about them, what they appreciate about them. Okay. So since we're stuck in the house, so to speak, with each other, This can be something ongoing. So maybe you don't open it up every night.
Right.
So let's say every Thursday at 7. We know we'll be finished with our work. This is the time the family just kind of hangs out, chills out, or whatever. And we can open up the bag, and maybe we're not saying everything that's in the bag, but we talk about one thing. Yeah. I know another family of mine, they put something on their wall. So you know how you have your calendar or just important activities coming up, and everybody's name is on the list. And throughout the week, you just post different things that just made you feel appreciated by them. And so it's not something that's actually said to each other, but it catches their eye every time they pass the sign.
Right. And so affirmations are really important because everybody's kind of off kilter. Yes. And affirmations will help us settle down, especially parents.
Mm-hmm.
What about Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it gives you a sense of feeling connected. Yes. So right now we kind of feel disconnected with everything that's going on. So at least I know with the people that I see on a regular, even though they may be annoying, I can feel connected to them in some type of way.
Right. Okay. So here's the next one. How do we handle discipline during parenting?
Oh, discipline.
Coronavirus.
Okay. So, everybody has their own version of what discipline is, right? Mm-hmm. And discipline, to me, or let me ask you, what is your definition of discipline?
So for me, discipline is about addressing a behavior, like you talked about the expectations. It's about stating what that expectation is, and if that expectation is not met, then we need to create some systems so that we can get to that expectation, and that will consist of negative and positive consequences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we're basically on the same mind frame as to what discipline is. Mm-hmm. You have to be consistent, whatever that looks like. So that goes back to me stating what the expectation is. Right. And depending on the age of your child, you're going to be a broken record player. You're going to say the same thing. What is the expectation? And when hopefully your child is able to state what the expectation is. Now, you don't want to keep saying, well, why didn't you do this? Or what are you supposed to be doing? I don't know. And of course, that's going to make the parent feel more annoyed and irritated and want to go off. So It's really stating what the expectation is, reinforcing the desired behavior. So I'm going to ask you, Stacia, what is the expectation as far as cleaning your room?
The expectation is that I will make my bed every morning.
Mm-hmm. And is that the choice you made today?
Actually, no. It's not the choice I've made in the last 27 years. Only reason I got married. No.
So based on the expectation, I'm not going to ask you, why didn't you do that? Exactly. So now, since you told me that's not the choice I made, exactly. I'm going to ask you, what is the choice you needed to make, or what is the expectations we discussed?
The expectation that we discussed was that I would make my bed every day.
And since you chose not to make up your bed today, what is your consequence? Depending on what those consequences are, whether it's I'm taking your tablet or I'm taking the door off the hinges or whatever it is, they already have an understanding as to what those consequences are. And I dropped the mic. We're not going back and forth.
Right.
And we're moving on.
And you know what? This is what I tell parents. When you set those expectations and what the consequences will be, you take out the emotionality of transgressions. Because what happens when we transgress somebody, they focus on the emotions of it. When you voice your dissension, when you voice your disagreement with it, all they focus on is how you talk to them, how you came at them, what you said. But if you let the consequence do the teaching, you have a much better experience at parenting, is what.
Yes, and it keeps your blood pressure stable, right?
Okay, so here's the next word. Parenting during coronavirus. What about this one?
Confusion.
Yes.
We're not alone. I think everybody at some point in time, even if not today, has experienced being confused because there's so many changes from day to day. And we talked about with clients boundaries, setting boundaries for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to watch the news in the morning, sometimes in the evening. And then if I'm on social media, it's more or less for counseling or just different tips on private practice. But there's so much going on with society, what number 45 is stating, what our governor and mayor, the judges, everybody is stating, it can become overwhelming to where it consumes my life.
Right.
Having those boundaries in place.
Uh-huh.
I know with my clients, we talk about personal bill of rights. There are some bill of rights that you have in order to maintain these boundaries or even establish them before I can maintain them.
Right.
Because there's so much uncertainty, how do I know which move, how do I know how to do my day to day? And it's really being able to try to reel yourself in. So that means being mindful. Mindfulness, that's something every day, whether that's meditation, prayer, or having that accountability person that I can kind of talk to keep me grounded with what's going on. And if I limit what I watch, what I read, or what I'm listening to where it doesn't overtake my everyday routine, then that helps me manage being confused on a regular basis.
Okay. And that helps, even like we're talking to one another, but I think other clinicians would also find that valuable because that's one of the things that I've done with myself. I watch the news cycle at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, but I have stopped turning on the television during the day because it was too much to regulate, and I found myself constantly recalibrating based on influx of information. So just like yourself, you're working from home and you have kids. We have a lot of counselors out there that are doing the same thing, and we need to be mindful of that, actually taking a step back and taking care of ourselves before we try to take care of other people. One thing I did yesterday that I don't think I've done, probably maybe 15 years, I took a nap on the front porch.
Really?
I went for a walk. I try to take a break during the day and to do a walk. And when I got back, I was like, gosh, I'm sleepy. But if I, go lay down, I'm going to have to take a bath. You don't want to lay in your bed outside stuff. And so I just pulled up some chairs on the front porch and I slept.
Wow.
I slept for 30 minutes. And that was the most refreshing nap.
But you know what? Sleep is so important. Yes. And I think we take it for granted. I know I do, especially now being at home because I'm too laid back.
Yeah.
Not having my normal routine. But the brain is so powerful, and the little bitty things that it picks up, right, that affect our sleep. Right. So you talk about being outside. Vitamin D is so essential for living. Light is so important for living, right? And even if it's just, let me sit on my porch, let me walk to my mailbox and back, it kind of, what do you call it? Allows you to reset or become rejuvenated, even though we don't feel like, 5 minutes of sunlight, the whole day is better. But just in doses, it makes a huge difference.
So I don't know if you know about the annual workshop I do. It's called August Accountability. It's a 31-day virtual workshop that I do online. And it has 4 quadrants in it where we talk about professionalism, relationships, self-care, and spiritual. And so for you, you're actually talking about one of those quadrants in terms of self-care in almost every aspect of this parenting dynamic that we're talking about with coronavirus. So if you could just give a few words of encouragement to the parents who are balancing work life, personal life, just a few seconds, and then we'll close this up. But I appreciate you. Everything you've offered has been so on point, and I know the audience is going to truly benefit from it. So what do you what do you say to the parents who are out there and struggling with the self-care quadrant during this season of coronavirus?
So self-care is like all the rave right now. And what I've been teaching my clients and trying to do for myself, we are our own worst client, but it's called an emotional love bank. And think about your bank account, what you have. And some people have multiple accounts. They have a savings, a checking. Now, depending on the type of spender you are, you can be very frugal, or you can be a spender to where you have to move money around. What is it, robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Right.
Really thinking about what you have in your account to let you know how much you can spend or not. Your emotional love bank is the same way. How much time how much energy, how much emotion have you invested in yourself? So that means self-evaluation, which you touched on a few moments ago. Self-evaluation is so important to check in with yourself before you're checking in with everybody else. Mm-hmm. So how much do I have to invest in myself before I invest time, love, any type of connection with my family, coworkers, or whomever? Mm-hmm. If I see that I'm negative, that means I have to instill some type of boundaries for myself to limit how much I give. Right. So as parents, before we invest in time, because we're still on the go, we're just doing that virtually, right? Right. Before I give of myself to my children to help them with their assignment, or to check in with my mate, just to show that we are still connected, what can I give to myself? And self-care is not necessarily what we want. Like right now, yes, I want to get my hair and my nails done, but it's what I need. Right. So if it means going outside for 5 minutes to get some sunlight, or I'm turning my phone down so I can get at least 10 more minutes of sleep, then I'm making investments into myself. Right. That means anything extra. So in my budget time, as I'm doing self-evaluation, I'm not looking for anybody else to make a deposit. It's what I can do for myself. Yes, right. So anytime anyone gives me that compliment or shows me appreciation, that's a bonus. That's that check in the mail that we didn't expect, right? And so I can decipher, okay, today I can disseminate to my kids. And then I can be aware as to what's going on with me. So when I've taught them or had them watch that video 10 times and they still can't get that 7 times 3 is 21, let me back away. I know you've seen that. Have you seen that cartoon?
Yeah, 7 times 3.
Let me back away because I don't want my blood pressure to get high, and then I get out.
I don't want my kids to have any lasting issues about coronavirus. So
exactly.
Play.
Yes, I'm able to check myself and walk away. And then I can even verbalize it. Mama needs to walk away right now.
Right. But that teaches our kids how to regulate. That teaches them. So there's nothing to hide. If they see you getting irritated and you take a step back, that teaches them self-control. It's So we got that for the people who are watching in the self-care quadrant. Share with everyone how they can keep up with you because you have a thriving practice. They can reach out to you.
Yes. So you can reach out to me via social media on Instagram or Facebook. You can always give us a call at 469-518-6034 or click on our website, mendingbrokenpiecescounseling.com or Village Connect. Even though right now the schools are closed, we're still providing or trying our best to provide services virtually. Okay. And I do have a lovely intern who is accepting new clients as well. Her name is Vicki Smith Lockhart. And
Vicki.
You know Vicki?
Yeah.
Such an amazing person. You think I would know her number on speed dial. She is amazing, and what she's doing in the community is awesome as well. Her and her family. Yeah. So her number, because I need to add her on my webpage, which I have not yet, but with all this time, you think I would have that on there. Her number is 214-740-6189.
Okay, and you can get that to me, and I'll make sure that we get it to the audience. So yes. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
Working from home, but we're still keeping the pace.
Yes.
It means, what do you call it? Less of a commute. We don't have to get But I hope we stay in touch. This has been a fabulous conversation. Maybe I'll have you on for another conversation.
Please do.
Thank you. So you make sure you have a good evening. You guys stay safe. You and your family. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. So there you have it. Make sure you connect with Melodi Parker. All of her social media information has been shared. She, shared a lot of information about parenting. And I think we actually extended beyond that when you think about the parameters that we discussed. It just needs it. We need to have these discussions. So do me a favor. Again, like, share, comment, do a watch party, invite your people out. All of these people are parenting with their kids at home, working from home, parenting, trying to maintain their work schedules. A lot is going on. So make sure you follow me on all of my social media handles, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And then you can find me on my website where all of these episodes are downloaded and ready for you to view and share at www.staciaalexander.com. Again, thank you for joining me for a special edition of Goals Don't Have Feelings with Dr. Stacia Alexander, where we're actually highlighting the emotionality of coronavirus based on different sectors of our lives. So if you have some conversations you would like me to have with other people, just let me know. Send me a quick message and I'm willing to do it. This is great. It's interesting. It's another period of growth for me. Even with the underlying fears and concerns, this is how I am directing my energy to be more productive during this social break from society that we're getting. So you all have a wonderful evening. Stay safe and thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.